Best. Hey Aubrey, welcome. How is it going? I actually tuned into your live stream a bit today. I just couldn't actually type in. I hope you're having a good day. I'm sorry, I'm just trying to move where things are because, you know, I am never ever actually prepared to 100% go live. Okay, and that should be way better. And we've got music now. Woo! All right. So today we are going to be doing things. What are we gonna be doing? Today we are going to be working on iHog redesign as per usual. I had this all prepared out. Yeah, I'm sorry. I totally should have. I could have popped in a comment. I tuned in for a little bit and then work called. So I just had to go do that. I don't make that on there. Oh yeah, I had it completely like golden before starting the stream. I promise I checked this. Yeah, no, I totally should have. I should have popped in and just at least said, hey, yeah, I listened to it for a little bit while doing some work today. It was good. I enjoyed the conversation. It is quite interesting. Like the caretaker aspect of it. And like what's offered and not offered in the like in the rehab centers. All right. so here we are. We are going to be working, like I said, on iHog, as you can tell by any of the things. Up top, I have the task that I really want to finish, which is the programming screens for the iPhones. Like I really want to get these done. And then possibly start on the main programming screens of the iPads today. We'll have to see how that actually goes. I think it'll be fine. I think we'll be able to do it. I don't think there'll be like a huge issue in not doing it, but you never know what will happen. Where did I used to have I guess I don't. Oh, that's fine. Where did though? I used to have a little screen. That's not what I want. Oh well. All right, well, this is what we're going with, unless it appears. Nope, it does not. That's cool. All right. Anyway, I'm just gonna trust that it's doing what it says it's doing. I'll put me here. I'm not gonna use this side anyway, as far as I know right now. And let's do it. So, all right. So I kind of have these buttons sort of laid out how I want them. They're still not exactly right. So I still want them to go all the way over. Like that. How many? So let's see. Let's do 1.5 and see what happens with that. See, but then it's not even on that side. Like, I have 2 empty. That looks better there, I think. I think that looks better. I don't know. I mean, it's definitely more spaced out. It's definitely more, and obviously these aren't going to be the same thing over and over and over again. It'll be, this one is for sure enter. And like that one's dot. And this one's 0. And you know, we just go numbers through it. So we have 0 through up here. But I still haven't really solved how I want to do like more buttons in here. I just feel like maybe that's not the best use, is to have like a back button that works on it. So let's run the app real quick. That way we know what it looks like currently. And I can adjust correctly. Okay, Command R. Oh, it's building. Excuse me. Okie doke. Sounds good, Aubrey. No problem. Have a good evening and catch you on the replay. And next time you're live and I'm able to catch it, I will actually type in and say hi. All right, we are designing in an 8, I think, an iPhone 8. So let's see what it looks like. And it looks like crap right now. And so once this runs, you'll actually see why I have to redesign it. Because believe me, this is not a fun time. Stream info. Let's see. I'm adjusting some stuff here. Let's see if I put this in science and tech, if more people will do that. Done. Thanks, Tom. I'm actually just welcome. I'm actually just running the app to try so that we can actually see what it looks like currently, instead of just being like, this is what it's in my head, and take my word for it that it's not like good. So boom. All right, so I don't care about running. So this is basically what we're trying to redesign here. And I'm just trying to figure out, because like I got to figure out where to put these buttons, where there's the kind keys and the encoders. So these 8 buttons, and then these 5, what would be like, if you're like looking at like a light board, they would be like their little spinny wheels to like control the parameters. And that's what these are. But spinny wheels on a like a touchscreen device don't actually work very well. Go figure, if you have to spin your finger around several times on a device like that, it's not gonna work very well for the user. So I actually, instead of doing spinny wheels, you just push the thing up and it increases, and you pull it down and it decreases as you're holding down. But I have to get those into, yeah. Oh, Jake, you're so close to getting another stripe. That's so exciting. Spinny wheels, also known as encoders. But yeah, so they would increase and decrease as that goes. It is very exciting. To get another color in. Cool. Okay, so that's what we're trying to redo. I have to figure out how I want that to actually be accessed. So I can either hit the button like what's currently happening and place the buttons here. Hey, there you go. You know, understanding. I try very hard to, I've had years of practice of like having to explain light consoles to non-lighting people. So it's a great time. I'm good to know that that hasn't gone away in 2 months of not being at that old job. But there's just so many keys here that just open other windows, and I just don't know if there's a better... Hey, Heather, welcome. I just don't know if there's a better like user experience to get those buttons on the screen rather than just clicking and pressing. I mean, they could definitely be combined. I know those function keys are going to take up a whole screen anyway on their own. So let's... I guess I could... There's only 4 of them. So I could do 1, 2, 3, 4. Just one button, like right in between. One button width instead of the 3. But I still have those next, back, and alls that are really useful here. Not disturb. Okay. That's fine. So we'll copy paste that, I think. And I want this one to not be that. Yeah. All back. Next. So next back all, they let you go through your different lighting fixture selections. So if you're thinking about this as like, it's like a remote control for your lighting rig. Like, so if you're at like a concert, you see all the lights up there. This is like a remote control for that, to control your lights. So by doing, if you think about it, when you're going through each of the lights that are up there, you probably want a quick way to actually go literally hit the next light. And that's the point of having these next all and back, so they let you quickly go through those. But you also don't want to accidentally hit the clear button, or else that just deselects everything. How many DMX addresses are in a universe? 512. I don't think that number will ever go away, Jake. I think that number is forever burned inside my head. Okay, yeah. No, we are golden. I definitely still know that one. Yes, those skills have not gone away yet. It will probably be a while before they do. S plus through at full, is that right? I know full's at the bottom. Now, what will go away first is my ability to remember where all these buttons are. So my previous job, before I got the software engineering job in July, it's already been like a solid month and a half, I think. That's crazy. So my previous job was actually working support for the company that makes the controller for the light. So I'm making a remote control app for the controller itself, for the console. So like I had all of this stuff memorized, and this is basically what I wish I had when I was programming the lights. It's just not, I mean, it's, yeah. And I know people also wanted something like this because I would get the calls that said, hey, what, like, can I do this with this other app? And I'd say, no, unfortunately you can't. We just don't support it. And then one day I decided that this was going to be my first app when it came to app development. And here we are. That is how iHog came to be. I'm not sold on putting all next and back there. Even if I do make them smaller. No. What if I make them longer? I don't think that's going to solve my issue at all whatsoever. Or solve my like... It's not really an issue. Alright, anyway. Well, I think still having one more up top. All I'm doing there is, if you're watching and you're like, what buttons are being pressed? Command C and Command V for copy and paste. That way I can quickly just duplicate it out. I'm sure there is some kind of keystroke that would let me just click and drag it up, but alas, here we are. I want a different color for those buttons though. Hey Aaron, welcome. How's it going? How are you liking your camera? I actually have your camera, the camera we were talking about, the A7C sitting next to me right now. It's actually not, it's usually set up, but it's actually not this time. I took it down to take pictures of the Corgo that is sitting next to me asleep now. All right, so I think we're gonna do, I'm just trying to find a different button. So I feel like it'd be really nice to have a different button color on those buttons rather than just like the gray that I've been going. Oh. I don't know how to solve for that issue whatsoever, Aaron. Tom, do you have any suggestions? Or even Jake might, in the Twitch chat, might be able to see this and pop over with some. So Aaron has he has a A7C with an A7C with like a wide angle lens, a 20 millimeter lens, and it's getting some Mori, I can't pronounce that, with some guitar strings. I would imagine, I feel like that's just the pattern. Like, it's going to be the pattern of the strings. It's going to be almost hard to get rid of, but I could be wrong. I just don't wear stripes is my goal. But I don't know. I could be wrong there. I have no idea how to get rid of that. We're going to go with this one. I feel like if we use different colors, that gives you a different symbol, a different, different way to actually see what's going to happen. Like, because it's not going to be a button that actions yet. It'll be a button that opens another window. Let's get that. Boom, copy. I just figured I'd ask. Oh. Interesting. The lower sensor, because it doesn't gather as much information, I guess, would help. Is why that helps. I guess that makes sense. And that's all right, Jake. I was just like, I don't know. You might know. You know, you've done a bit more of this stuff than I have. The higher res sensors. I love that higher res sensors is like, it's just double the 12 megapixels. It's just 24 megapixels. Makes a huge difference in this. So let's do. So we can do action. It'd be really cool to have symbols. I wonder if. All right, and you know what? We are going to shrink these down a bit since they do just open windows. There shouldn't be too much of a. That should be okay, right? And then of course, obviously we're not gonna have the grid in the back, so we can actually turn off the grid. I mean, I think that's actually like the spacing is a lot better than what is currently running in the simulator. And having like the different colors there actually help distinguish. So this is what's currently on the App Store. I mean, that is a solution if you just want to throw money at the problem. I wonder if just a smaller, well, I guess it's the megapixels, right, that allow for the info, because I was like, I wonder if just a smaller sensor would be better. Because you went, did you see this on your A7 III, Aaron? Because isn't that what you had before? You were running an A7 III with the Sigma 16? I just like how much space it's also using. It's just a better utilization of space itself. So like if I move that down just to be a little bit better. Like it's just a better, I mean, ultimately it just looks better. Like the space itself just looks way more utilized, I guess I should say. Not really better. Let's look for something. I wanted to do Figma SF symbols. SF symbols 3. Yes, get literally like this is awesome. So the SF symbols are the little symbols that you see on your phones a lot. So like they're the little icons. So like I know in my app specifically, like I have this little chat icon, this little tip jar thing, the request a feature for the little light bulb. If we go inside a show, launch the show. If we go inside the show, like these icons are all SF symbols and they're all built into the operating system. Again, one less thing I have to worry about. So let's duplicate this project and copy them in. Canon is better for this because it has a filter built in. What kind, would like a polarizing filter do help? Because then it like would stop. I don't know if a polarizing filter would actually help, but like if you think about like polarized glasses, like they like I can't see the back of my camera whenever I'm wearing my sunglasses because of the way that the LCD is actually built. Oh, Jake, you switched over to the YouTubes. I see how it is. It really does save lives though. So with that polarize it, but if I like rotate it, like if I rotate my camera like vertical, like portrait, it'll I'll be able to see the back because like the polarizing is going the opposite way. So would like a polarizer filter help? I am just taking shots in the dark. I have no ideas. You're watching on both. There are too many Jakes happening. But yes, you are correct. SF symbols save lives because they are just amazing. I don't know if I'm actually going to get SF symbols that will actually help me though. They might just make my users more confused. If that makes sense. Oh my goodness, but that would be a great, is this a new one? Hold on. Oh no, it's there. Why have I not been using that for my palettes? One sec, I can't show my GitHub right now. So what was really cool is the new job basically just added my GitHub, like in my existing GitHub account to the so basically the new job just added my existing GitHub account to the GitHub repo organization for the job, which is pretty neat. But that also means I can't just open my GitHub repo whenever I want to now because you'll see it. The A7S3 has no issues, and that's pretty much all you know. My ESR never had issues, and it has a 30 megapixel sensor, but it's only 1080. So maybe try filming in 1080. I guess because it's still less bandwidth coming in, that might work. I mean, if it's going by that like theory that like the smaller it is, the smaller the image size, the less you'll get it. Open a blank issue. Okay, so I wanted to replace San Fran SF symbols needs to be palettes should have the paint palette as the symbol. Basically, I use GitHub issues to just run exactly like what I need to work on next. Change, where did that go? Change palette symbol from wand to paint palette. This just makes more sense because of words. Enhancement, and we'll throw it into the next one. It just helps me keep organized, helps me keep on to the next thing that I really need to do. Yeah, I don't know, Aaron. I don't do anything music-wise, and I don't know anyone else who does anything music-wise, to be honest. Besides, well, Tom occasionally does drums, and that would be it. No, the A7 III and the A7S III are different sensors. The A7 III has very similar sensors to what's in your A7C, though. I've done way too much YouTube watching on cameras. Or not enough, depending on how you look at it. It's all research for my new podcast. It's great. All right, so basically I'm still looking for something that could replace the action buttons. So I'm looking for something that could replace the kind keys and encoders. Let's see, objects. Okay, so these are iOS 15 only. So I really don't want to look in the iOS 15 only section because I would like these to just work. I don't want to have to require iOS 15 purely just for new icons. Could you imagine, like, you don't want to update something and the only improvement for you to update is actually for new icons? I mean, I'll be honest, I would do it myself as a like person who thoroughly enjoys that kind of stuff, as like wants to be on the latest and greatest, but would not expect anyone else to do that. Ooh, that may work. The little thing here. I'll sell a guitar and change them for the A7S III. I don't know if that's, I mean, I guess if you can't see your screen, I guess that makes sense. Like, if you can't see because it's too much, like, that makes sense. But I don't know. Okay, so I think that's going to be the best choice, is to choose something like this. And we'll take the icons and we'll, instead of the word action there, yeah, the GE lenses will work for the A7S III. So you'll get the, yeah, so what's really cool about Sony's whole lineup of cameras is that you get the, literally all the lenses, even the crop sensor lenses, work on the full frame cameras. So as long as it's working on the E-mount lens, it'll work. But the E-mount will have a, but the crop sensor lens, like that Sigma 16 you were using, will cause the camera, I think, to go into 10 megapixel mode. I could be wrong. And you'll get like a crop on it, so you won't get the full 16 millimeters. But that 20 millimeter lens you got, Aaron, or that at least we talked about, I think you said you got it, should work perfectly well on that A7S III. It would even work on the FX3, the Sony cinema camera one. Okay, so that's gonna be the action key. I think that totally works there. Kind of. Actually, I don't like that it's filled. Did I grab the filled one? That totally works, but I don't like it. Where did it go? Oh, well, if it's outlined, that makes sense. So I feel like at some point, either I'm gonna have to learn how to make SF symbols, like San Francisco symbols, because you can make your own, or I'm gonna have to pay someone to figure it out for me. Because I think I really like the SF symbols, and I think at some point having custom symbols is gonna make way more sense than trying to get these to like work. Thorgy, are you okay? Hey. Sorry, the dog was making lots of grumble noises. As per usual, to be honest, he makes lots of grumble noises. And they're always really loud. Oh, I'm sure. I can't imagine. Have you tried? Have you tried making your own symbol? Because I can't imagine how intense it is. See, and like, I would want to add color instead. Like, I would want to go all out for my own symbols because I would want to add color and such to them. Because it would just like the symbol, like changing colors, like instead of having, like instead of it just being blind, highlight, clear, like if there were actually symbols associated to that, like, and it would light up the color, like, and I'm sure that would just take a lot of work that I just don't want to do necessarily. Not that I don't want to do, but that I don't want to spend my time learning if this takes more Like, there's other things I want to take my time to learn. Ah, you looked into it for fun. Sounds like something I would do, but just haven't yet. Okay, so we're looking for action keys, which we have. Which are going to be your kind keys and your kind keys and encoders are going to be the buttons. I feel like that makes sense right now. It might not, and it might throw my entire user base off, but we'll see. Action keys. So those are your record buttons, your update, move, all that stuff. Would it make sense to actually throw these into like, I feel like my utility keys and my action keys can actually go together. And where are my object keys? Do I not have? I love it. I didn't actually have my object keys either. I bet that could all be 2 buttons, 3 buttons here. We'll have the kind keys and encoders, the action keys, object keys, and utility keys, and then your function keys. That, to me, makes a lot more sense than whatever was just happening. Boom. All right, so those are still encoder. So these are, how can I text? I'm sure we can just add text outside, right? Yes. Encoders and kind keys. That's what they're called, at least as far as I'm still aware. Then we will have, we'll just actually keep it all here. We have encoder and kind keys. Then what is next? So we have encoder and kind keys, and then in the middle we have the action, utility, and object keys. Which function keys help me get better control of my life? Ugh. If only it was that easy. It's the highlight button where you just focus on yourself, Phil, because you gotta always make sure you're focusing on yourself and your well-being. Okay. I will check that later, I guess. Thanks. Oh yeah, of course. That's why I said the highlight button, so that you can focus on solely yourself. Oh, that's perfectly fine, Clever. No problem. I don't mind lurkers. Okie doke. Sounds good, Tom. Y'all have a good walk and make sure Ben and Finley have the time of their lives. Okay, and the last one is function key is going to be your function keys. That's what the last one is going to be. I gotta get the things. It is toasty. Hold on. I have to turn on the AC. It is way too toasty in here. Where'd this go? I would nest. Because it is 73 in the apartment. Yeah, no, I appreciate the heads up. Yeah, we're just gonna take the risk and see what happens here. We'll see how it goes. Man, I never thought an LED light could get this hot, but it certainly does. Also, there's like the air in this apartment is no bueno. All right, so action, utility, object keys, function keys. Let's see here. Oh yeah, no, the heat. Yeah, I also hate the heat. It is awful. Definitely not fun whatsoever. Okay, so let's go. So action, utility, object keys. I feel like these are good. We can just kind of make up what we want. Okay, so I know for the encoder keys, we did use the joystick kind of icon, but would the knob icon make more sense? Since they're knobs on the consoles? I don't know. We'll have to find out. That's also an option. Because on the consoles, they're like knobs that you turn. Kind of knob-ish. But on the... But they could not be knobs. We could make them something else. But like I was like, that slightly makes sense also just because there's 4 to 5 of them depending on what you're doing. Okay, I want something with like buttons. Let's see. I want to stay away from iOS 15 buttons for shoresies. What if... I mean, see, and this is the issue with icons, is if I use SF symbols, I just have to literally pick from what they have. Instead of... What is... Oh, so these are... I don't even know the difference. Just stay with these. So yeah, I have to pick what they have instead of like doing something custom. That would make a lot more sense. But what about something... Spark... Oh, I love that they added that. That's great. Ew. Oh, because it's a digital crown. Oh, I bet. But that totally makes a lot more sense than the buttons to go up, down, left, and right. How many times will I replace this one icon instead of actually replacing the other? That would make a lot more sense. All right, let's go up here. There we go. For y'all still watching, or for everyone who's watching, I shouldn't say still. I know that and maybe you haven't heard of it. I know that today we got news that next Tuesday is going to be new iPhone announcement day. Perfect. I am super excited as per usual. I am always excited for new iPhone day. How do I like Figma? You know, it's all right. I'm probably not using it to the best of its ability, but as being a pretty much noob to design, it's not terrible. It could definitely... Can I change that? Oh, I don't have any color styles. Interesting. I don't know how to add color styles. It's not bad. I don't mind Figma. It's fine. It's good for something in the browser. I don't know if I like it more than I like Sketch. So before, and it's also great because it's free, which is another nice thing. I try to keep costs down as much as possible for design stuff just because like I know I won't use a million of the features that they have in them. But so it's not bad. It's definitely a lot of getting used to different things. But I would highly recommend giving it a try if you want to. Now, I have had to work out a different workflow than what I had in Sketch before. But it's still better to use something purposeful like this than it was for me to use like Affinity Designer to keep designing in it. Just because like Affinity Designer was throwing me really far off through a loop here. Purely because it just wasn't meant, the symbols didn't work how I wanted them to work in Affinity Designer, so I couldn't really easily like duplicate and reuse and such like that without like a major workflow shift. But it's not bad. I'm getting more and more used to it. It is what I use. It's what work uses for the designs and such, so it's a lot. I mean, it's nice if I know how to maneuver in something that designers are handing me. So I definitely think it's worth trying because I think a lot more companies are using it than they were whenever it first released. And also, I'm really super excited by being able to find like all the symbols. And then I was also like, this was just a Google search that I did to find all the symbols. And then there's also, you can get a bunch of other like, what was the other thing that I found? Oh, I found the one for actually like iOS 15 like UIs and such like that. So a lot of people have them. Mostly I design on paper and then codify and change elements there. That makes a lot of sense. I would do like basic sketches inside Notability on my iPad and then basically just go to town at it and see what happens. And then what ended up happening in this last time was my app turned out looking like this, which is not a pretty design whatsoever. It's really, it needs some work. So that's what I'm doing, is trying to figure out how to change those works there. But yeah, I also have yet to find a really good design tool that I like, that like makes sense. I just haven't been able to find one that makes sense, but Figma is making the most sense, I guess. And then also what I really like to go with is if I know, like at my previous job, one of the guys I was co-programming with basically, knew a lot more about backend and database things. And his specialty was like Postgres and Node servers. So like, instead of having to learn things over and over again and try something new, because I didn't know anything about the backend side completely, I was like, great, I'll take Node and Postgres servers. That is what will come to me because then I have someone I can go and ask questions to. So because at my current job, the design team uses Figma, if I run into an issue and I'm just like, hey, this isn't work related, can I pick your brain real quick? There is more likely that they'll be able to help me like figure out how to use Figma than it is like if I had like Adobe XD or more Adobe XD or what's the next one? Sketch or something like that, just because they know Figma. You're more back end, branching into front end. Oh, that's fun. More front end branching into back end. That's totally fun. I am definitely more front end than I am back end, and I don't know why, because I have no idea what I'm doing with like design wise. But I am definitely more of a, but I guess it's because I like the instant feedback. So when I push a button, I make something happen. That's probably why I'm more like front end than I am back end. Like I can instantly see it. I don't have to wait for people to figure it out to like do things like that. But yeah, that is, I get nervous doing that kind of stuff. Like I get real nervous, like doing lots of data movements and such. Like it really throws me through a loop. And like, that's actually part of the reason why, like, I'm going to keep the same design. I'm keeping the same backend for this app, like keeping the same backend for the app. Like I went through a huge like shift where like they just weren't, where like the backend basically wasn't compatible to the new version, that kind of stuff. Like, and it just like I should have paid more attention to like moving data and such. And I was just like, I'm sorry, users, this is what we get for this time around. I actually don't. Do I avoid backend? Do I touch backend? Actually, I do sometimes. I do sometimes, like, I do want to learn more of the backend, I should say, of things. So I want to learn more about the Postgres and the server side stuff. Once I left the old job, I decided that I was going to go hardcore into Postgres, but using like a Swift server. That way I didn't have to like switch my brain from like programming Swift on the front end to programming Swift. I mean, to like JavaScript on the server side. So I decided I was going to go Swift side with that on the server side, but alas, I was like, I need to redesign this app and make it look better. And so here we are, working with UI and trying to figure that side out. But if you would have asked me like a year ago, yes, I would avoid server side anything like the plague itself. Like, you know, the way that we were locked up for six for like a year, that would be me trying to avoid doing anything server side. Basically, I just use everything Apple can give me so that I don't have to touch it myself right now in this app. That was the goal, and it still worked. All right, so this should be function keys actually here. Sweet. Function keys there. All right, we still need all those other options. Okay, so I really want that, but with just squares. I don't need the chat bubble on it. There it is. Boom. The users are gonna be like, what is that? Oh my goodness. I need to be better at writing tests. Like that is something that like I've been slowly adding more and more tests in. That is something that like a hill that I am dying on now is I must test everything that is inside my code. Or, you know, everything that makes sense. Like I'm not going to go like Apple gives me a bunch of SwiftUI components. I'm not going to go and rewrite those SwiftUI. I'm not going to go write tests to make sure those SwiftUI components work. But yeah. I'm also like trying to start writing tests and such and I'm actually trying to get better at test-driven development with that stuff. Okay, so we still don't have a next, back, and all button, but I think I still need that. So let's copy paste up here. Get rid of that. You know, if it works, it works. If you're okay with it, that's okay. I think these buttons are too close together, but I won't know for sure yet. Oh, is it yes, it is. That is why. Oh. Back. Next. I think. I mean, it's still really heavy, but I think that's probably still better than anything. Oh, that's fun. The Warby Parker glasses. They are some of the new ones. You've never written a test and you've been programming for 20 years. Well, you know, like I said, if it works, it works. Programming for 20 years, no tests. That's great. I want to start doing more of that and getting the tests actually in there so that I have practice so that if I ever join a job that I like, where I like am actually iOS coding, like I have I can say I write tests in my code and you can see them. All right. Ooh, some kind of combo. That is fair. I also usually just buy what I like for my glasses as well. Yeah, they're just black semi-round ones. All right, so now that screen I think is gonna be better. I should probably can I just export? Copy as PNG. So can I paste it onto my desktop? No, that would be too easy, right? How do I export? Well, that's fun. Isn't heat great? That's cool. I like that. That looks good. And I ended up liking the fact that these buttons are different colors. It just gives more of a, it gives a better feel to them. I wonder if, though, it would be better if we moved these. So if we swapped these. All right, group those. Yeah. Oops. And let's move these here. Can I group those? Yes, I can. Yeah, that's what I was thinking is like we can... I imagine more people will be pushing these buttons and they will these buttons in the middle. So I'm thinking that the next, back, and all buttons being right above the number key would actually be better. I might end up shrinking those to be the same size, but this is already looking way better than what I had in anything else. So I'm super happy about that. Oh. Okay, that's cool. Great. I think those are slightly bigger. Whatever. That's close enough, I think. All right, so let's make these go away. Well, actually, how does it work in the simulator? So when you tap on it, it just covers and comes up from the bottom. So we need a sheet. Files. So this is that UI kit I was talking about that Figma has, that iOS 15 one. It's pretty neat, just because it has like everything built in here. So where is... It's on action sheet. Those are widgets. I don't need those. Oh yeah, definitely. I think it's, and it was a community one also for Figma community. So someone had already done it. So I literally just Googled it and it popped up and I was like, oh, thank you. Thank you very much, person. I thought it had... I really need to go buy them a coffee and support their designs, because that would be super helpful. Yeah. Okay, so that is modal stack. I don't need a modal stack. I just need a modal. Because like we wouldn't have maybe they don't have a modal. I could be wrong. Maybe that is close. This is the modal stack. Oh, okay, that's cool. Don't worry. You know, I've heard of Flutter. I have not used Flutter myself. I try to stay native. Not try, I do. I stay completely 100% native with Swift and SwiftUI. So like this is what I do. But I've heard Flutter is gaining traction, a lot of traction lately. I've seen it pop up quite a bit on my Instagram. Do you like it? Is it good for cross-compatible? I usually stay away. So like the only reason I usually stay away from, boom. I usually stay away from, so we'll do that and then drag this up. Yeah, so I usually stay away from, yeah, hey, look at that. That looks exactly right. What am I trying to say here? Delete that. Boom. So I usually stay away from cross-compatible stuff like that. One, I needed to focus on something. So like I chose to focus on, what did I choose? So I chose to focus on like strictly like iOS app development, like Swift, like native app development, which is fine. It's just something I chose. But let's go red, close. But like I said, I've heard a lot of good things. I know that people want me to take this app to iOS, to Android, but the reason I don't is because there's still some like networking stuff I have to figure out in it, and there's no reason for me to try that. With Android, I have nothing on my Android device to do that with. Unlike React, it's truly native using its own rendering engine. React isn't truly native in how it works. That's true. React isn't. It's like a web page. It still does like the web server side things, right? And the Flutter is more like, it's declarative, like you said. It's in Dart. Is that right? Am I wrong there? Let's see. Google knows. Yeah, Dart, C++ and Dart. And then it basically compiles the Dart into Swift and all that, into like Swift and Java or Kotlin or whatever it needs, right? I think that's the premise of Flutter. That totally makes sense if you want to take it to like both Android and iOS, like that, and even I think it can even build like platform, right? Like it literally targets like all of them. Like that totally makes sense. I myself cannot do that. Well, not that I can't. But like it's not something that's in it for me completely. I just don't think it makes complete sense for what I'm doing. I'll go over here. Thank you. Yeah, I figured it's quite complex under the hood for what it can do. Because it's pretty, oh, go back. Pretty nifty from what I've understood. Nope. This is gonna do it to the middle there, and then boom. And let's do. That's fine. One, two, three. Thanks, Koala. I appreciate it. Appreciate the lurk and the listening. I am just pushing through. Thank you guys. That makes sense. Being able to target everything. I guess it just depends on what kind of like app you're running. Like maybe it's just like my lack of experience. It's just like so like for this type of app, I have to like communicate via like UDP basically to the actual device that I want to control. So by using the UDP, like, so basically this just sends the OSC messages out, like the Open Sound Control, which is kind of UDP-ish. And from what I understood, at least whenever I was looking at first building this, because I was going to go React Native actually. That was my plan, because I was like, oh, I can do both Android and iPhone. Yeah, let's do it. But I just didn't. Let's group that. And group. We gotta group these because we need to. And I didn't because of the fact that I'd have to go into the like UDP side of things and the networking side of things. And I didn't quite want to do that with React yet. I was still a baby programmer. I mean, I am still a baby programmer, but I am a bit better than I once was. I'm actually a lot better than I once was. This should, I think, if I boom. Can we distribute horizontal? But yeah, so it's I bet those edge cases are really far and in between, to be honest. Like I think that's just gonna be like something that either you find that you have to like I think it's gonna be like a really far and in between, TBH. To be honest, like it's just the tech to do this cross-platform things are coming so fast, but I don't know. Oh yeah. Oh, that's good to know that Flutter could do that. I just wasn't sure. But yeah, no, I didn't want to recommend. I don't see myself jumping ship quite yet unless this becomes like a lot more that I'd want to like dive into. I mean, this app barely it's a paid upfront app and it barely makes enough to cover website hosting and then app store, the app development program. Like it makes just enough to cover that. So, which is fine. Like I totally like as long as it's making enough to cover itself, like that's all I ever wanted from the app. Like I don't want to get rich off the app. Like purely this was my pet project while I was working at the company, like outside, and then this was like my way to learn iOS development. Like as long as it's covering its expenses, like I'm happy. But like I just don't see myself ever leaving iOS or wanting it to go to iOS because, like I've said before, I have no idea how to program for Android. I mean, I have no idea how to even use Android, to be honest. Like I don't use it. It is not everything is in the Apple ecosphere right now, and I probably plan on keeping it that way. Where is do I want a toggle? Or yeah, no, that totally makes sense if you're trying to since you're trying to push the product to multiple platforms and it's you and one other dev, like that totally makes sense. Completely 100%. I would not take that away. Ooh, I bet. Can I even style a segmented picker right there? Let's pretend we can for now. And let's just put that over here. Well, you can if we just don't make it go full screen. Anyway. And I feel like a toggle would still make more sense than the segmented picker, but I don't know yet. What was it before? Oh, it's just a button. Stupid button too. That's not even. I don't know why I thought this would be a good idea to release the app like this, but I did. All right, let's get. It's 4x4, I think. Intensity, position, color, theme, effect. Oh, I'm sure. I can't imagine. Yeah, it's just a different beast. Time. Group. Then fixture. And then really, these would... Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, that's like every language you go between is exactly like that. Like, you have to learn the in-betweens and, like, where the gotchas are and switching back and forth. And, like, I know, like early this year, late last year, like, I was starting to pick up a web project and still working really hard on this app. And, like, just switching between Swift and JavaScript would lose me, to be honest. All right, I think this is where I'm going to stop for now. We actually got a decent new and prototyping, multiple flows, one page. I don't need, okay, that's fine. Let's see if I can, interactions, on tap, navigate to, there. No, but I want that. Hold on, I think, let's take that away. So here we can add an interaction. Yep. And we'll go to there. All right. So in theory, if oh, it's disabled for this file. Of course it's disabled for this file. Let's see what happens though. And then I'm going to call it done. Boom. That's nifty. Huh. We could just prototype an app right here. I'm pretty sure I could also. I am actually curious how that's gonna work, but oh, that's nifty. Cool. So let's try this again. I am curious how Flutter works. I haven't done it, like I said, but like I am curious. I will probably. Oh, that's awesome. Okay. Anyway, I am amazed. Like that's super neat with Figma. And if I go back to design, it goes away. Sweet. I am interested. I will probably at some point go to check it out just from my nosiness for shoresies. But yeah. All right, y'all. That is going to have to be it. I need to take the dogs outside and I need to get ready for bedtime because it is now 9:15. Thank you guys for sticking around. Thank you guys for sticking around and chatting with me while I was pushing through some buttons on Figma. It is coming across. I still haven't finished all of the check marks, but that's okay. We'll get there. But anyway, thank you guys so much for sticking around. Thanks for lurking. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I appreciate it. If you're not following me yet on Twitch, drop a follow. If you're on YouTube and you haven't subscribed yet, please hit the subscribe and the like button. It would really help me out. Join the Discord no matter what though, because we have a super fun group and new iPhone announcement day is on Tuesday. So, you know, the Discord is going to be popping then. And I will catch y'all next time. Bye.